In today's video, I must complete Grounded using only Tier 2 gear and tools. In order to complete this challenge, I have to collect all the BURG.L chips and kill the Broodmother. I can only use Tier 2 items from the Gear and Tools tabs of the crafting menu. There are two exceptions to this where I'll have to use 2 bombs in the Black Anthill lab in order to complete the game. Will I be able to complete the challenge? Make sure to leave a like if you want to see more challenge videos like this. Also, follow me on Twitch if you want to see these challenges completed live.
First thing to note is that the world is on mild difficulty. This is the easiest difficulty in the game. I did this because I didn't want the challenge to take weeks to complete, and I didn't want to spend lots of time upgrading gear. I start off by grabbing a few items from the floor, including some mushrooms for food. Then, I head to the field station and scan my first 3 items and collect the granola bars. These will be useful later as they're a really good healing item in the game. Next, I made my way to the anthill. Here, I'd be able to find my first full set of Tier 2 armor and a BURG.L chip that I could use later. The Rotten Bee gear that I got here isn't a great set of armor, but it's a good start and reduces our chances of dying early on.
My next task was to obtain a weapon, as I made a rule for myself that I'm not allowed to use my fists to attack. Luckily, the game provides a few rotten weapons you can obtain early on, and some of them are Tier 2. So I decided to go and grab the Rotten Red Ant Club from under the hedge so that we can finally start fighting enemies and defend ourselves. While heading to my next destination, I was spotted by a mosquito. Although I pulled off 3 out of 5 perfect blocks, I was sadly too weak to win this fight. We had now taken our first death only 10 minutes into playing, but I wasn't going to give up that easily. I headed back to my death spot and planned on picking up all of my items until disaster struck. The mosquito was still there. Thankfully in Grounded, you keep your armor and weapon when you die, so I was prepared for a fight. But the mosquito was not prepared. He got stuck inside of a toadstool. So I got my stuff and ran away. Next, I decided on the way to the hedge lab, I would kill some bombardiers. I did this because my next goal was to get the insect axe, and in order to craft it, you need 3 bombardier parts. You also need a lot of boiling glands for the oven and the insect hammer, so I figured it would be better to get them sooner rather than later. Now, I headed into the hedge and decided to enact one of my first big brain plans. I started destroying web sacks. For those who don't know, web sacks are a thing you can break in the game that spawn in baby spiders that attack you. Not only that, but they have a chance to drop a lot of good mob drops, such as the ladybug head, stinkbug gas sack, and stinkbug parts, all of which we needed. Next, we arrived at the hedge lab. Luckily, I knew how to do this quickly thanks to Zero. After grabbing all of the pieces of the password, I made my way to the storage room. The storage room had grass planks. This was an item I needed in order to make a crafting table to craft the axe. Also in this room was 4 silk rope, the last ingredient I needed to craft the axe. And so, at 30 minutes in, I was able to craft myself a Tier 2 axe. This was huge progress. Speaking of progress, I made my way over to the computer and input the password. This allowed us to get another BURG.L chip and also turn on the scanners around the map, which tell you where almost any item on the map is for free at any time. Finally, before leaving the hedge lab, I grabbed the Broodmother BLT recipe, as we would be needing this later to summon the Broodmother in order to complete one of our objectives. I then decided while I was at the hedge to grab a bunch of berry leather, as I would need this to craft some more Tier 2 gear later on. Now all I needed for the Tier 2 hammer was more stinkbug parts. Since I didn't have a gas mask, killing stinkbugs was very difficult. So instead, I decided to use the web sack trick again to get the last 2 stinkbug parts that I needed. Next, I made my way back to the spawn and decided to proceed with the main quest. I cleared the laser of lawn mites and then activated the machine to unlock BURG.L. I was unable to do this before as I didn't have an axe to chop down the grass. While on my way to the great oak tree, I paid a visit to the old anthill and killed some soldier ants. I needed their mandibles to make a red ant club, which is better than the current rotten red ant club that I have. I also grabbed some quartzite while in the anthill to upgrade my weapons later on. Then I went to BURG.L's lab, solved the puzzle, killed Taze T, and saved his life. I gave him the BURG.L chips and then bought the smithing station from him for 2.5k raw science. This was a smart purchase as it would help me upgrade my gear later in the game. My next task was to set up a basic base to store items in and where I'd be able to craft items using different stations. I made this near BURG.L as there's lots of items that you can only get near the oak tree like acorns, and it's the only place you can talk to BURG.L currently. On the way to my next destination, I stopped off at the ice-capped mint box to grab them. I ate 10 of these chunks to give myself Tier 3 of fresh defense, which reduces sizzling by 75%. I needed this because I was unable to use antlion armor for sizzle protection when I was collecting the hot charcoal and in the sandbox. Since I couldn't use a bomb to get to the upper yard, I had to improvise. I had also forgotten to unlock clover roofs or grass stairs, so I had to build a way up out of walls. Yeah, it wasn't easy. There was, however, a good reason that I wanted to go to the upper yard, and this was to kill black ants on top of the bench. This was because I needed to make the black ant sword, black ant shovel, and the black ant shield. I needed the black ant sword as it's the only slashing tier 2 weapon. This is useful as a lot of enemies in the game are weak to slashing damage, including the Broodmother. The shield was essential because shields in Grounded are just broken. If you block regularly, you just take no damage, you just lose stamina, so they're very overpowered. We needed to get the black ant shovel in order to collect clay, sunken bones, and koi fish scales later in the game. After grabbing the black ant parts, I went back to BURG.L to unlock an extra mutation slot, and then crafted the black ant sword and shovel and upgraded the sword a few times for good measure. We still need more boiling glands, so I took out another bombardier as I walked by. I then grabbed some clay for my spinning wheel and got stage 1 of the coup de grace mutation while I was there. I completed my crafting stations and put up a small wall around my base to prevent ants from ratching through my items. My next challenge was to find a way into the haze, as I was unable to use the gas mask due to it not being a tier 2 piece of gear. Luckily, the game provides a smoothie called Gastro Goo that gives gas resistance for a small period of time. So I went to kill some infected mites on the edge of the haze for fungal growth so that I could craft some. Since I had decided against the black ant armor, I started killing some ladybugs so that I could craft ladybug armor, as this is a very powerful tier 2 set of armor, and I would be using this against the assistant manager. Before heading back to the haze, I made my ladybug armor and increased my max active mutations again. I quickly realised that my smoothie was not going to last long enough to allow me to open the door to the haze lab, so I took a huge risk. I decided to plug the gas canister. This removed the haze effect, but there's also a chance that it was going to remove all the infected weevils, stopping me from opening the door to the lab. Thankfully, they kept spawning and I was able to open the door without using a brat burst. Haze lab time. I killed the 2 tasties, ran through the explosives and pulled the lever. I then made my way to the hardest part of the game so far. I purposefully trapped the infected ladybug in the hallway so that I could deal with all of the other enemies. I took out all of the infected mites and larvae and opened the door. I then grabbed the BURG.L chip as well as the brat bursts and granola bars. Then, before leaving, I killed the ladybug for more parts so that I could craft the ladybug chestplate. I went back to BURG.L, gave him the chip and unlocked the oven which we needed to summon the Broodmother. I then crafted the ladybug chestplate and upgraded my sword to tier 5. Next was the part I'd been dreading the most, underwater. I started off by unlocking the Mertine mutation to increase my breathing time, as I couldn't make the gill tube as it was tier 1. I then realised I already had an underwater weapon in the shovel, and so I used it to kill some diving bell spiders. We needed their parts for the bone dagger. Speaking of the bone dagger, the next ingredient I needed was 2 sunken bones, so I headed to the depths to collect them. I also used the scanner to help me out here. Next, I made some liquid gills and fluid flippers to increase my swim speed and breath duration. I then killed some fireflies in order to craft the firefly headlamp, which would help me see much better underwater, as it was the only tier 2 piece of gear that provides light. With all of my buffs now equipped, I headed back down to the depths to collect 5 more bone fragments so that I could craft the bubble helmet. Now that I had the bubble helmet, I was ready to conquer the pond lab. I pulled the lever, killed the Arcar, and made my way to switch all 3 of the breakers on in order to unlock the main door. I had finally made it to the lab. Now, all I had to do was flick a switch, kill some enemies, and oh, I forgot I had no armor on. I made my way back, finished off the enemies, and grabbed the BURG.L chip. I also watched the dome unveil, as I think it's one of the sickest animations in the game. Before leaving the water, however, I still had 1 more BURG.L chip to get. I headed into the cave, grabbed the mossy key, and unlocked the chest. We now had all of the BURG.L chips in the underwater section of the map. Thank God. Termite time! I crafted the mosquito needle, as it's a termite's weakness, and my God, I didn't realise how good this weapon was until I used it. I snuck through the splinters, grabbed the BURG.L chip, and killed the termite king for fun. You know the drill at this point. Kill bombardier, get boiling gland. With my black ant shield now crafted, I decided to get ballsy. I needed to kill 5 wolf spiders for mithridatism, a mutation that negates all poison damage and that I needed for the Broodmother boss fight. I take out 2 here. I then head to the barbecue area of the map in order to grab some hot charcoal as we needed it to craft the oven. I then kill another 2 wolf spiders on the way home, taking the total kill count to 4. Once I got home, I made the oven and cooked the Broodmother BLT for later. Exposed pipe, tier 2 knife, Minotaur maze key, picnic table, picnic BURG.L chip. It's just that easy. After visiting BURG.L, I went back to the exit only to see that the infected wolf spider was trapped in the door. I had two choices here, escape through the back exit or fight him head on. But as I only needed one more wolf spider kill for Mithridatism, it almost seemed like fate that the game had provided me with this free kill, so I took it. Here we have the first rule break of the game, as I had to use a bomb to get into the Black Ant lab. I granted access, grabbed the smoothies from the chest, set my spawn and granted access again, unlocking the entire ant lab. I then had to break the rules again by using another bomb to get to the assistant manager boss fight area. Okay, boss fight time, easy peasy, Huh? Pop a bandage, and we go again. It's that blue shit that does the damage, I think. Like, how has he just shot that backwards? That literally makes no sense. My guy shot his attack backwards at me. Great, here comes... Why is it Tesla turrets? Oh no, it's lasers, not Tesla turrets. I did not swing there at all, for the record. Tesla turrets are coming in now, I think. Yeah. Shite off, I hate these things. What is that health bar? What is hitting me? There's nothing. I took Tesla turret dog shit. Okay, just drink a smoothie. Stop with the milk molar on my fucking screen. I don't need to know there's a milk molar nearby in the middle of the boss fight. Of course, the laser spawns inside of me, bro. What was that? The laser literally just destroyed me. Oh, here come the lasers again. Great. Ow, 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 I'm getting hit by everything. Okay, he's one shot, or he's one bar. He's not one shot, we learned that last time. Okay, now he's gone. Why are the lasers going? He's dead, bro. Okay, well maybe it wasn't first try, but I got him on the second go around, okay? Cut me some slack. With the keycard firmly in my grasp, I picked up the final 2 BURG.L chips. That's right, Objective 1, collect all of the BURG.L chips, is now complete. Now, the final objective is to kill the Broodmother. I made some koi armor to help with perfect blocking and headed to the fight. Let's do it. Boom, 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 boss fight time. Oh. Oh yeah, it protects from the poison, that's good. It's a good start. It does indeed work. Oh shit, she did the jump attack, that's fine. Okay, here we go. Oh god, scream attack, that hurts, that's fine though. Okay, get ready to block. Oh my god, quad perfect block. That was disgusting. I'm sorry. That was filthy. I just quad perfect blocked her. Oh my word, that should be illegal. Okay, she did the jump. You can't dodge that. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. We're chilling. Honestly, she's doing like no damage on this difficulty. I didn't realise it'd be this much easier, to be honest. Oh, she did the big attack. Okay, that's fine. Where is the challenge? Oh, here come the Orb Weaver Juniors. This is where it starts to get difficult. Just kidding. Sue, she's dead. Let's go. Well, that's it. We did it. We completed the challenge. Leave any challenge ideas you have below, and leave a like if you enjoyed this. No, but seriously, this took me 20 plus hours of editing. I wrote a script that's like 2,500 words long. Please just leave a like. I'm begging you. Please.